Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's a dog with you, H. Weber. I feel like Johnny Carson. I've been off for like 3.5 weeks. I haven't done a show. I kind of eased out of 2018. Thank God Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve was on a Monday, and of course the showtime is Monday. Well, today we have a local boy that's made good, and he's continuing to spiral up, doing what he loves to do, and that is do some baseball, and he's going to manage Watertown Rapids this year. Local boy, Mike Wood is in the house, Minders graduate. Welcome to Weber This Week. Well, how's everybody doing on a Monday? It is the 7th of January, 2019, and Mike Wood is my special guest. We'll get to him in just a second. I just want to wish everybody a Happy New Year, and I'm sure Mike will agree with me. I want to send out the best. Like I say, I've been off for a few weeks, and it's been kind of geared up, and I scheduled Mike to come in, and because of his schedule and his new job, we couldn't work out the first date, but he promised he would be here on the 7th of January. And Mike, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you being on.
I appreciate you having me.
Thank you. So, Mike, let's talk about, there's always a saying, local boy does well. You, of course, being a Minders graduate, and we were kidding each other before airtime that you went on the graduation class of 2013, and that made me 50 years older than you are since I graduated in 63. A little bit age difference.
Yeah, a little bit.
But, Mike, let's talk about yourself as far as you left Minders Academy, and I was looking at your Facebook posting, and it has you attending several colleges. Is that a fair statement? Because I noticed that you, began leaving Minders, then you studied at Jefferson Community College?
Yeah, I spent 2 years at JCC in Watertown.
Okay.
And that kind of gave me a 2-year window to figure out what I wanted to do as far as academics, and led me to West Virginia at Davis and Elkins College for 2 more years after that.
Now, Davis, so that you went from Jefferson, then you went to the Davis and Elkins. And what kind of school was that? You said sports management?
Yeah, so I ended up getting my sport management degree there.
Okay.
It's a Division II school in West Virginia. Played in the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. It was competitive baseball, and I met some good friends there. I enjoyed my 2 years there.
And then you studied educational leadership at St. Lawrence.
Yeah, so right now I'm actually 5 months. In May I'll have my master's degree in educational leadership from St. Lawrence.
So, as you ponder through and you went through the various different colleges that you attended, trying to put you on the right track of what you wanted to do, when you were leaving Minders Academy before you went to your first college experience, did you have a goal that what you wanted to end up doing in this world?
As long as it was around the game of baseball. I think it probably changed 20 different times throughout the period of my 4 years in college. In high school, I still wanted to pursue that ultimate goal of playing professional baseball, and that was a dream that I had since I was 5 years old when I started to play. But then it changed throughout college when, I wanted to coach. And I think I've gotten my coaching start a year and a half now at St. Lawrence, and I just enjoyed it so much that that's the path that I want to stay on. So.
And you were saying as well, Mike Wood, my special guest, Minders Academy graduate, local guy. Of course, you've got a brother, Jimmy, who I haven't seen forever. Jimmy, I understand, is working at Xylem. Congratulations to Jimmy. That's where I left about 11 years ago, retiring in 2007. Of course, his dad is a legendary Woody's carpet cleaning. Reason I asked, this young man to come on my show, figuring I'd get a $10 gift certificate coming off the next carpet cleaning, which will not happen, I might add. But I had to throw that out there. And I cannot remember your mom's name.
Jane.
What is it?
Jane Wood.
Okay, Jane. Well, I know they're going to be checking out this show, and hopefully we're going to do a good job. But let's talk about when you were at Minders. Obviously, you like the game of golf. You enjoy, obviously, baseball. the Miners Academy experience was one that you will never forget, right? It's something like it's ingrained in you, right?
Yeah.
All the stuff that you had, all the sports you played and everything you were involved in.
Yeah, I'm proud to be a Miners graduate. I did. I followed in my brother's footsteps and played on the golf team at Miners, along with playing baseball under Jim Bruni and Charlie Foster were my two coaches. And I had a great time. We had some successful years, both on the golf team and baseball, actually.
Now, as far as getting the job that you just got named several weeks ago as the manager of the Watertown Rapids of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, and I might add, I've told you before I went on the air, I've been friends with Bob and Leslie Ullman for many years. They're not only great friends of mine and Mary, they're also great sponsors of this show, and as you know, they're the owners of the Newark Pilots, and Bob is a majority owner of the Geneva Red Wings. So I've had a chance, along with Mary and friends of ours, to go over and check them out, and they've always had some very good teams. You kind of roll with the dice when you bring in kids. Sometimes, the season is great. Sometimes it's not as great as you hope it is. But it's fun to see these kids mature. But as far as you're concerned, when you were doing what you were doing and all of a sudden, out of the clear blue sky, you mentioned to me before we went on the air that you probably didn't think you were going to be named the Watertown Rapids manager. So tell our viewers how that all took place.
So as I told you before the air, I was planned on going back down to Florida where I was a coach last summer, South Florida Collegiate Baseball League, which is another very highly touted collegiate summer league for college kids, wood bat summer league, just similar to the Perfect Game League. And I got a text from the general manager of the Watertown Rapids and said that the position was open, and a couple of phone interviews later, they called me up the next week, and I got the job. So pretty impressed, huh? Yeah, I was really excited, especially because it was in Watertown, where I went to school for 2 years, familiar with the area. It's only the second year that Watertown has a team in the Perfect Game League, but they were very successful last year. They made the semifinals, so I know I got to try to follow that up and recruit good players and good assistant coaches to help get us back there. So.
As far as you mentioned, a couple of teams will not be present this year. You mentioned Onondaga's no longer in the league.
Yeah, Onondaga had something very recently come up where they had to withdraw from the league. Jamestown, actually, the team who won the league last year, they had to withdraw as well. So I think they're down. They still have, I think it's 12 teams split in between 3 divisions: East, West, Central. Watertown's going to be in the Central. Geneva and Newark, I believe, are in the Eastern Division. Western Division.
Yeah, as you look at the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, it's obviously a springboard for young kids, young people to come in, a chance for them to shine.
Yeah, so baseball is pretty unique in that a lot of the top level, high level schools and players in the country play each summer after their senior year of high school, as early as their senior year of high school, going into their freshman year of college, and then every year after that until they're a senior and they become ineligible for the summer leagues. So they try to get in leagues every summer. And as far as the recruiting goes, yeah, you try to get, you're listening to a lot of college coaches and tell you that, their player is going to be a good fit on your team and that. And it's challenging, but it's unique as well, and I'm really excited for it.
Now, as far as accommodations, you take in this job, you bring kids in and have people in the area, Watertown area, that may put them up, or do you have a certain area that they're going to be resident at? As far as how do they all handle that?
Yeah, so mostly the way this works out is host families are a big part of collegiate summer baseball. So most of our guys are going to be staying with host families, and just people in the Watertown area that are happy to take on these kids for a summer, and that's also a unique relationship that, some of these families build great bonds with these kids, and they might take in 1 or 2 or 3 even sometimes, but that's also a great experience for them to get away for a couple months and live with these strangers. But it's sometimes they really do build a great bond with them.
As I mentioned before, close to the Newark Pilots and the Omens, and we try to get over there for a few games every year. And I know it's based on weather, and I know it's based on fan support, and I know there are nights where they really have a big crowd, and then there are nights they have small crowds. So I guess it's back and forth. Is that the same scenario at Watertown, or do you normally get good crowds night in and night out?
Yeah, so they opening night last year, I was told that they had like 1,700 people at their opening night game, and then I think it was the next week or something like that, they only had 100. So it's going to vary, and that's on the general manager and everybody, the management staff and the front office there to promote well and see, and we're going to be doing a lot of things this year, which is we're only in our second year, so give us time to kind of get our name out there, and we hope to have that same sort of attendance in that 1,000 people per night every night. That would be great. But.
Yeah, I agree with that. And hey, Mike Wood is my special guest today. Local guy, Seneca Falls guy, Miners Academy graduate. We're gonna take a commercial break right now, Zach. Let's do our commercials and get that out of the way, because when we come back, I'm going to have you listen to a spot that I recorded before Mike came on board. We have a brand new sponsor today, Bostrom Farms out in Stanley, New York. But this is Weber This Week. Mike Wood is my special guest. We'll continue our dialogue, talk about we got a big football game tonight, and we got the NFL to talk about as well. Resort and Casino has something for everyone. 2,000 slot machines and 99 gaming tables. The Vine, featuring top national music and comedy acts. The dining options. The Great Portico by Fabio Viviani. The Farmers Market Buffet, the Social Cafe and Bar. And the 14,000 square foot European-style spa. Del Lago offers massages, body treatments, and facials, plus a full-service salon. Visit DelLagoResort.com for more information. Cayuga Lake National Bank, offices in Union Springs and Aurora, a fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor on Bridge Street in Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her team will find the right spirit for you every time. When you stop in, tell Amy the dog sent you. The Omen Theater on William Street in Lyons. See what's playing this week at omentheater.com. Located off New York State Thruway Exit 41, the McGee Diner has earned their reputation as a popular family restaurant, serving country, fresh, home-cooked meals daily. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and check out their menu at mcgeediner.com. The Child Advocacy Center of the Finger Lakes is a child-friendly location where allegations of physical or sexual abuse are responded to by a multidisciplinary team of professionals. The team works together to conduct a thorough investigation and to provide necessary support services to children and their non-offending caregivers with a goal of minimizing further trauma to a child. Seneca Metals is an award-winning company that has earned a reputation of going above and beyond to protect the environment and support their community. As an EPA inspector once said, their operation is head and shoulders above the rest. And the Newark Pilots are the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, a minor league team with a major league ballpark. Season ticket packages available at NewarkPilots.com. And the Wilson Press in Seneca Falls. My good pal Rich Rickey and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Visit them online at wpress.com. Welcome back, everybody. And as I said before, we are welcoming a brand new sponsor today, my buddy Kevin Bostrom, Bostrom Farms out in Stanley, New York. Let's check out this ad. Bostrom Farms is a butcher shop focused on providing fresh, local meat to the Finger Lakes region. The retail store is located on Routes 5 and 20 in Stanley. They offer a full range of pork, beef, and chicken products that you can feel real good about. Buying food for your family should be fun. At Bostrom Farms, we put the fun and trust back into buying meat. And we want to thank Kevin for joining us as a sponsor. We've been blessed over the years. And I was telling somebody the other day, I mentioned it, I don't think I mentioned it to Mike. According to my math, and I think I'm pretty good at math, but according to the fact that Mike told me he graduated 2013 and I graduated barely at 63, I was 50-year differential. I believe my math, I began doing, I think, demo tapes late 69 for WSFW radio. Then we went into full operation in 1970. So I believe I'm entering my 50th year between radio and doing this internet show for Jim Senecropi and Finger Lakes One. I believe I'm right about that because I remember I was one of the few that did a couple of tapes late 69. And I think the only people that could hear the show were cows because it was aired like at 6 in the morning. But so I don't know what I'm going to do after this year, or whether I'm going to retire or not. I want to have you think about maybe I would do that. I don't know what I'm going to do. But after 50 years, I may want to call it quits. But then again, I might change my mind. I'm willing to do that. But it's good to be back with Mike. Mike, of course, family's very close. I see his dad all the time working hard. But Mike, let's talk about your style as a manager as you embark on this new opportunity, new challenge. You're going to bring in a bunch of college kids, and what's going to be your type of leadership? Are you going to be the Billy Martin type that's going to get into these kids' face, they screw up consistently, or are you going to be laid back and that's all right, young man, we'll take care of it tomorrow? What's your style of management, or do you know right now what it's going to be like?
I think I know from past year and a half at St. Lawrence, and kind of the coaches that I've had in the past have built me up to, kind of determine what coach I want to be. I'm pretty laid back. I like to, I know ultimately for summer leagues, I know that these kids are coming to me with their own personal goals that, might not necessarily be involved in the Watertown Rapids winning the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League Championship in 2019. Mm-hmm. So, their coaches might have goals for them, and these kids have individual goals. So I know that they're going to be focused on that, and I am the ultimate competitor. I love to win more than anybody, but there is a bigger goal here for these kids, and I want to give them the opportunity to come in there and, take care of what they need to take care of, and also, come out and showcase yourself. There's going to be professional scouts at games, and they're showcasing their abilities in the summer to ultimately improve and go back to their respective schools better than when they came to me. So
I guess you would probably agree with me that you might be laid back, but one thing that really galls me watching Major League Baseball, we talked about this before we went on air today, the Machados of the world going to be making over $300 million, which will soon be made somewhere along with Bryce Harper. It galls me when these Major League players stroll down to first base. It absolutely drives me insane. If everybody was like Brett Gardner, who did like the 100-yard dash under 10 seconds. The guy flies down there, right, on a simple bouncer to second base. Is that the thing that would drive you nuts, even though these kids are coming in from various colleges? If you're not going to run hard, then why even show up?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think drives me insane.
That just comes with respecting the game, too. Mm-hmm. So you could say I'm old school in that, in that perspective. But I think there's something that has got to come to you. Every time you show up to the ballpark, you're there to give 100%. So you might not have the same pride in the Watertown Rapids as you do in the college that you go to for 4 years, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, like I said, you're showcasing your skills and you're representing yourself, you're representing your school, you're representing the Rapids. So I think the character of the person and the player is definitely something I look into when when I'm going to first meet these kids face to face. Most of them, first time I'm going to meet these guys first face to face, May 31st. So Yeah, I think that comes with respecting the game of baseball and playing hard.
I may have touched on this with Bob and Leslie Ullman, who again owners of the Newark Pilots, and Bob being majority owner of the Geneva Red Wings. I guess what I probably never verified is these kids arrive into town. When do you say they come into town usually?
We play our first game May 31st.
Okay.
This summer. So a couple of days, probably a day or two before, we'll get them in and have a practice, and then we're to playing.
So at what point do you and the coaches determine who's going to be the starters? Is that something difficult to ascertain in a few days?
Yeah, I think you, from my experience in summer baseball, coaching it and playing in the South Florida Collegiate Baseball League, in between my junior and senior year of college at Davison Elkins, it's sometimes it seems like you never put the best 9 on the field the first time out, and I think that's understandable because, like I said, you'll only see them for a practice. Sometimes not even. Sometimes you get guys that come in late. But yeah, you're never going to put the best 9 on the field. If you do, then you're very good. But I guess it's a crapshoot. But over the summer, over the duration of the summer, kind of hopefully by the time playoffs comes around, then you put your best 9 out there.
Interesting. I was curious because of the time span, you don't have a whole lot of time to make a determination.
No, not at all.
Isn't like Major League Baseball where they have a couple months down in Florida.
Spring training, right?
Yeah,
no,
right.
Not at all.
Well, listen, Mike Wood has joined us today. We got a few more minutes to go, but I would be remiss if we didn't talk to Mike about NFL. The playoffs are underway. We're down to the final 8. And, of course, tonight, ho-hum, I got to get Mike's opinion. He said he'd never touch and go against Alabama. Yes, folks. Get out the pills to take a nap. Yes, it's Clemson versus Alabama yet again. I guess my view is they're the 2 best teams. They were the 2 best predicted before the season started, and they did not disappoint. And I think Mike would agree with me. I always marvel at the kids who make declarations of what schools are going to, as you're aware of. It mind boggles me. A lot of schools get, a 4-star. Yay! And if they get a 5-star, 1 5-star, or 1 5-star, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a parade. Alabama and Clemson get 8 to 12 a year to look at. I mean, Mike, that's not a fair fight.
I know.
It's unbelievable. And Georgia's getting their nose stuck in there as well, those Bulldogs. I look at college football, and it's no wonder that we have Clemson, Alabama once again, because, yes, have they been flop 5 stars? Yeah, but not often. Usually they're darn good players. And they get so much of a choice. They sit around and say, oh, yeah, we'll take this kid. This kid's a 4. Nah, we don't want him. I mean, as you know, Mike, it's got to be amazing to other schools. Like, how do you compete? I mean, looking at the material. They get the best every year.
Yeah. It's a pretty good recruiting tool when you have Nick Saban
and people laugh.
Sweeney, yeah.
You wonder why Nick Saban makes $11, $12 million a year. I'd pay him $15 million to keep winning these championships. Right. It's only money, and Alabama can just print it. It's just mind-boggling to me. By the way, Alabama's a 4.5-point favorite, Las Vegas line. So if you're into gambling, and we should have sports gambling here before 2030, the way the New York State legislature moves. It should have been ready now. That irritates me as well. Don't get me going on that one. Delaware opened up a couple months ago, and the first day they opened up sports gambling, they made $325,000 for a small state. That's a lot of cash. New York, where we are? Come on, pick up the pace. Let's get sports gambling because, of course, now it's been approved by the Supreme Court, and we should have ready to roll. But I'm disappointed we're not ready to go yet. By the way, I work part-time at Del Lago. We will have it as soon as the state of New York approves it. All right, let's talk about the NFL, Mike. Let's talk about they're down to 8 games. Let's tell our viewers what we got going here. Let's remind everybody, Saturday, we're down to 8 teams. Indianapolis travels to Kansas City. Kansas City, a 4.5-point favorite. KC looks tough at home. Yeah, but Indianapolis looks good, too, with luck.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough to beat Kansas City. They have some record where they keep getting beat at home in the playoffs, but I think with Mahomes and they got some weapons on that offense, I think they'll get it done.
And how about them Cowboys? I never thought I'd say that. They made the playoffs and they won a game. They travel to take on the LA Rams. The Rams are showing no respect because the line is 7. The Rams favored by 7. Do you think the Cowboy dreams will be ending against the Rams?
It's a tough team to beat. Again, Rams are another high-powered offense. They got a lot of weapons, but Cowboys have had some good defensive showings. I think the Rams will win that one.
And if you're not tired out of football, we go on to Sunday. And, of course, Sunday at 1 o'clock is the Chargers versus, yes, Mr. Brady's back in town. Foxborough, Tom Brady, the Croc, the Chargers versus the Pats. Brady and the Pats are a 4.5-point favorite, and it's hard to go against Mr. Brady because Rivers against Brady, Rivers is 0-7 against Brady at Foxborough or any playoffs.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
like Alabama, you can't go against Tom Brady in Foxborough.
And of course, the finale of the weekend NFL playoffs, which is the great time of the year, Philadelphia. They did it again. I felt so sorry for the Bears. That poor kid missed that thing and hit the upright. Just a terrible way to lose. Of course, Rex Ryan today on Get Up today, on Sports Center, indicated he had absolutely no sympathy for the kicker.
Saw that.
Yeah, no sympathy. That's his job. He doesn't have to run around the track and have to put the pads on and beat himself up like all the other players have to. All he's got to go out, Mike, is to kick the football between the uprights. He does that, they win, they move on. He doesn't do it, hits the upright. Good night, Irene. But Rex Ryan hammered him this morning. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I saw that.
He had no mercy for the poor kid. But Philly at New Orleans, and there's no love for Philly in this one. The odds makers have Philly an 8-point underdog to New Orleans Saints.
I think it'll be a little closer than that.
Yeah, I think it might be right. Yeah. So Mike Wood's been my guest today. You know, as we talk about your adventures and your career path, I know your family's got to be proud of what you've done so far and how you're making your moves and doing a sport that you love to do and you love to play and you're excellent at playing at the game. I guess it couldn't be any much better for you right now. And now you look forward to the anticipation of having these young people come in from various schools and trying to put a program together and win more than you lose, right?
Yeah. Like I said, they had success last year, and I just want to follow that up, and hopefully, they're trying to advance and make it further and, grow as an organization, and that's where I want to be a stepping stone in doing so. I got 5 months to do that, and I'll be at St. Lawrence coaching for those 5 months, and excited for a great season there too. But there's not too much of a break right after a couple weeks, and then back into coaching with the Rapids.
So when you have time to do whatever you want to do, what is that? Play a little golf, have some fun, or just relax, go to a concert, or just unwind? Or?
Yeah, I like golf. I play golf as much as I can. When the sun, I don't get much time aside from the summer. We do play our night games, so maybe this summer I'll have a few days to get out there and play golf. I think I played in high school, and I think that's probably my second favorite sport to play. But I like it all: football, basketball, baseball. I've just been a sports junkie my whole life.
Nothing wrong about that. So, listen, thanks for spending time with me today, and I hope that you turn out and your dreams come true, and I'm sure you'll come back on in a few months. You come back to town, you see how the updates are doing, and when Newark takes you guys on in Newark, try to make a point that I circle that date, and myself and Mary and our friends Gene and Sandy will come out and check it out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So thanks again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Mike Wood, young kid's done well for himself in his early age of life, and he's got a lot more progress to make, and he's certainly going to do it because he's got the get up and he's got the talent and he's got the education. So from all of us here at Finger Lakes One and the Weber Show, we wish Mike nothing but the best. By the way, upcoming guests coming on the show next week, speaking of a guy that's a little crazy, my good friend Jim Spina. Jim's a big Clemson fan. He'll be wearing the garb next week, whether they win or lose tonight, and he'll wear a lot more garb if they win. And then on the 21st, 2 weeks from today, we have finally lined up a gentleman who oversees the casino where I work part-time, Del Lago Resort and Casino. Mark Giuliano, the Executive Vice President, General Manager. We got our fingers crossed that nothing comes up that he has to be called away for a special meeting. We hope to have Mark in here. Finally, we've been trying to get him for at least 3 to 4 months. He's a tough guy to get a hold of, but he's expected to be here on the 21st to do the Weber Show. So, for my good friend Mike Wood, along with my producer Zach the Man, this is the dog bidding you farewell. We'll catch you next week for another edition of Weber This Week.